Okay, hello guys. Okay, so we are now starting inequalities in Unit 2. So to start off, let's talk about what the symbols are and what it's going to look like on a graph. So if it says less than, then it's going to make the L shape. It's going to be the less than symbol. And it's going to be an open circle on a graph because there's no equal to part. When it's less than or equal to, it has the less than symbol with the equal to bar underneath it. And it's going to be a filled in circle on the graph. If it's greater than, then it's the opposite direction. It's not less than, obviously. And it's again an open circle. If it's greater than or equal to, then it's the greater than symbol. And it's a filled in circle. Okay, so let's graph a few of these inequalities. So looking at number 1, it says x is greater than -8. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the number line, I'm going to put the number -8 in the middle. And then I'm going to number the rest of the number line. 7, -6, -5, and then in this direction. And yes, you must number the number line. You have to make sure that you number the number line correctly. Now, since it is just a greater than symbol, it's going to be an open circle, and it wants all the numbers that are bigger than it, so it's going to be an arrow drawn this way. Or I'm going to show you on number 2 how you can do it on the actual graph if you would like. So starting with number 2, we're going to put 5 in the middle because that's the one I'm graphing, and I'm numbering the rest of the number line. This is positive numbers, so this is 4, 3, 2, and then this is 6, 7, 8. And now if I do it on the actual number line, because it's got the equal to bar, I'm going to put a filled in circle here, and I'm going to shade everything that is less than. But you just have to make sure that it's very well known. Okay, now for number 6, I chose to do number 6 because it's got the variable on the wrong side. So what you're going to do is rewrite that. You flip everything. So it's going to become n is, notice it's open to the n, so your inequality better be open to the n still here. Okay, or you can think of it as it points to the -2, so it has to stay pointing to the -2 when you flip it around. Everything flips. And now we graph. I think it's much easier when the variable is on the left because if you notice, hey, this pointed to the left and I graphed to the left. This pointed to the right and I graphed to the right. That only works if the variable is on the left. All right, so here we go, we graph. Here's -2. And I fill in the rest of the number line. So this is -1, 0, 1. And then on this side, it goes -3, -4, -5. And this is an equal to on -2. So it's a filled in circle and it's greater than. So it is everything shading to the right. And you can do it above or on the number line. It's your choice. All right, looking at the next couple of problems, jumping down to number 9. This is where translating from words to the symbols. You have to do both parts. So it says a number is at least, a number that's going to be my x, is at least. That means the smallest it can be is -2. So if this, can x be bigger than -2? Yes, x can be bigger than it. So therefore, this is going to be greater than or equal to. The words at least are the opposite of what you think. Opposite of what you think. Because it's greater than, but it's got the word least in there, so you might think less than. Nah, that's the smallest it can be. So all of my x values can be bigger than it. That's why it's x is greater than or equal to -2. So we put -2 in the center, and then we fill in the number line. And we graph it's equal to, so it's a filled in circle, and we shade to the right. Is no more than. That word no tells me it's the opposite. So it's going to be x is less than or equal to 9. So I have 9 in the middle. So this is going to be 10, 11, 12, because this is positive. This is 8, 7, 6. It's equal to, and it's everything less than it. So it is this way. And then I'll leave number 11 for you again. It's at most. think the opposite of what it's saying. Okay, so jumping down to 13, we're trying to determine, is it a solution? Okay, so if it's a solution, okay, it's going to make a true statement. Solution if makes true statement. So if I look at 13, this is going to be plugging in. So I'm saying that the 11 is equal to the n, so I plug it in. So I've got 11 is less than 8. Is that true or false? That is a false statement. 11 is not less than 8, so therefore it is not a solution. It is not a solution. So now I'm looking at K. So I'm going to be plugging in. So I'm going to have 4/3. I might want to change that. That's going to be 1 1/3 because that's a whole number. Let me think about this one as a whole number. So I'm going to have 1 1/3 is less than or equal to 2. Is that true or false? Yes, that's true. So therefore, my answer is yes. Moving right along, flip it over to the next page. Excuse me. And we are now solving the inequalities, okay? So to solve inequalities, you follow the same steps as solving equations, okay? If you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the inequality symbol. That's the one rule you got to remember. That's the only thing that's different. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you must flip the inequality symbol. A negative to both sides. Like when you're solving, you have to multiply by a negative to both sides. All right, so let's practice with number 18. So I'm solving. So I'm going to do my equation wall just like normal. So I'm going to subtract 1 because I'm adding 1. This zeroes out. We bring this down and I have 3x is less than 9. Divide by 3 because I'm multiplying by 3. I have to undo that multiplication and I get x is less than 3. So now I have to plot. So this is part of my answer and then I also have to graph it. So I have the 3 and I put the numbers. So this is 4, 5, 6. This is 2, 1, 0. It is an open circle and shading to the left because it is a less than symbol. Okay, now we're going to look at 20. This is where we pull in having to remember about the negative rule. Here we go. So draw my wall. It's adding 22. So I'm going to subtract 22 from both sides. We got to remember integer rules here. This is positive. This is negative. They're doing battle. So I'm going to actually subtract. And in this, the negatives win. So that's a -4. And I bring this down. Remember, that's a -2 that you bring down because that's sometimes it's forgotten. So I have -2 is less than -4. This is all scrunching together. -4. Divide by -2. Since I am dividing by a -2 to both sides, this inequality symbol flips. So this is now going to become y is greater than 2. So I graph the 2 in the middle. So I'm going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 0, -1. It's an open circle on 2 and it's greater than. So it's shading everything to the right. Okay. Your assignment is to finish the notes and the classwork homework. And y'all have a great day. Thank you. Remember to ask if you have any questions.